Action!
Welcome to my nightmare.
Put down that remote and call your booking.
Place your bets.
Two of the biggest names in horror are about to do battle.
Jason's fighting Freddy. That is unbelievable.
Lots of blood, lots of fears, lots of screams.
Let's go. Wait. Look.
Come to Freddy.
These are my children, Jason. Go back where you belong!
And Jason is indiscriminate. He's just like a big, dumb shark. He's just out there killing. And Freddy has some finesse. He wants to kind of enjoy it and kind of do these strange little nightmare constructs with his victims.
Don't worry about my little errand boy. The only thing to fear is fear himself.
Yeah, I think my 8-year-old self would be really proud of me that I'm finally kicking the crap out of these guys.
People on set always scared me. I was a scaredy cat on the set.
Join us as we go behind the scenes of Freddy versus Jason.
The big guy's going down, I swear. Place your bets now. Oh, hi. Welcome to Eve's behind the scenes of Freddy versus Jason. With 17 films and over 150 victims in the body count, two of horror history's most prolific killers finally get it on. See how it took over 20 years to get these two guys to meet. Why won't you die? We're here on the set of Freddy versus Jason. Notice who gets top billing for the 8th installment of a great Nightmare on Elm Street film. And this time I'm meeting my match with Jason Voorhees.
Jason's fighting Freddy. That is unbelievable. It's like these two giants of the horror movie world going head to head.
And I think people just love the fact that they're two of the worst villains in horror history ever. And the fact that they're going to square off and they're going to fight just totally intrigues people, and they want to see it.
Come on.
Freddy and Jason are pop horror icons. They've been around our culture for almost 20 years, and each of them has become a symbol of all those things that collectively we as teenagers and then as adults are afraid of, so that they are the sum total of our current pop boogeymen. Before, I think New Line even got the idea. This sort of originated with the fans. I remember people coming up to me back in '84 and going, excuse me, Mr. England, sir, dude, you think you can kick Jason's ass? Penny for your thoughts, Chief. There's this great idea that in some kind of hellish purgatory, an impotent, weak Freddy, a Freddy that's been rendered weak over the last 7 sequels by the women, the strong women warriors who continue, and his daughter who continue to diminish his powers.
Freddy lives on fear, so if people don't know about him, they can't fear him. Therefore, they can't be hurt by him.
Who is that? Someone there?
Not strong enough yet. Well, I will be soon enough. Until then, I'll let Jason have some fun.
Freddy, in hell, find a good partner, which is Jason. And then he used tricks to trick Jason to come back to Elm Street and start killing people and create fear. The more fear he creates, the more powerful Freddy becomes. And so Freddy can come back into this world and start creating fear.
So I use Jason who inhabits the real world to, begin a reign of terror so that everybody, can get their fear festering again so that I can exploit it later.
Freddy basically brings Jason back from the dead to start killing people, and everybody in the town assumes that it's Freddy, which makes us fearful, and then Freddy has his power again, and he starts murdering people again. I live in the house where all these murders took place, and then a lot of the murders start happening to me and all of my friends, and this whole town sort of becomes infected with Freddy Krueger once again.
And the problem is I unleash a Frankenstein monster, and, Jason, once he tastes blood,
But Freddy also learned that Jason is not stoppable. He thought he can stop Jason.
And then Jason begins to poach on his territory, so Freddy has to go in and stop that. He's sort of, Jason's sort of taking over Freddy's favorite victims. And
Don't worry about my little errand boy. The only thing to fear is fear himself.
also, I think we sort of have the same victim world, but both Jason and I go after those teenagers having sex. We like have sex, Freddy gets you, or Jason gets you.
I played Jason Voorhees, and Jason's just sort of a little misguided. I like to call him a psycho savant. He lost his mom early. He's just been living out in the woods and under the lake for by himself, no guidance, and he's just sort of following a mandate, kill all those bad kids.
Jason is just like this silent killing machine. He didn't know because, he has this handicap, then all he knows is, okay, if my mom told me something is not right, then I'll do it right. But the means to do it right is wrong by just killing all people,
It's strange because, this guy's got a body count higher than mine. But Jason has at least some sort of backstory that makes him seem a little bit, after all, he's a serial killer, but he does have an abusive childhood.
Right.
One of those, that old line, that old saw.
And that is the one thing that is from the original writer, but sort of like I elaborate a little bit more on like, the little kid, the torment that he went through, and sort of like the audience, you can see where Jason comes from. I think that is very important, that you understand where he comes from.
Jason! Jason Voorhees!
And Jason is indiscriminate. He's just like a big, dumb shark. He's just out there killing. And, Freddy has some finesse. Freddy wants to kind of enjoy it and kind of do these strange little nightmare constructs with his victims. He likes to finesse it there, Freddy finds out what scares you. Freddy knows what's in your underwear drawer. Freddy knows the picture of the girl in your wallet. Freddy knows you don't like bugs. Freddy Freddy, if you have a disability, Freddy is the one that takes your crutch away. He's the one that cranks up the volume on your hearing aid. And I think audiences have always responded to that because he's so unapologetically evil, bad. Coming up on Behind the Scenes, we'll introduce you to a whole new batch of victims.
The idea of being, working with Freddy and Jason, these two guys who'd given me nightmares and terrorized me my whole life.
I flushed way better looking things down the toilet. I mean, get real. You're not even scary.